So let's talk about those young folks, the ones that you come into contact with. Do you think, do you believe enough discussion has been held about purpose and
No, sir. And that's not the fault of the school system. Most times it's the fault of what might be taught at home. I'm going to share a conversation that I was having with my college age nephew just the other day. And I began to share with him as he so candidly talks about his purpose in life. He is in school and attending a college that specializes in preparing pilots, commercial pilots. His whole life dream has been built around becoming a pilot. His purpose in life, if he explains it and tell it to you, sir, will be that he has to be a pilot that flies commercial. His purpose in life is to fly an airplane. And for the purpose of his life, he equates it to his dream from a child watching planes take off and the feeling he felt in his emotions. So for whatever he might have felt and whatever, I wanted to make clear to him, back to this thing called faith. I said, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence not yet seen. And so what I was trying to break down for him was this. You have hope. And your hope is that you receive that pilot license. I said, keep your hope alive, sir. Your faith is no good if your hope is not up to anything. You have to have a hope in this day and age and time that will burn beyond any doubt. It will burn beyond any thought of not being able to complete. In other words, it has to burn so heavy on the inside until it burn up fear and it allows faith to live. I said, in other words, if you didn't have the hope of being a pilot, why would you even have faith to even think about being a pilot? Young people today are without hope. I remember when I wanted my car so bad, but I remember when I wanted and needed the driver's license before I got the car. So my hope started with a driver's license and not with the car. A lot of the young people today, they have hope for the big house, but they don't have any faith to go to work. They don't operate in faith because their hope is up to nothing. Young people today need to be fed hope beyond hope. If they don't get in a place of recognizing the importance of hope, they'll never see purpose because they'll always be equipped with some level of fear. There again, I was taught that if you fail, if you fall, you get up and you try again. A lot of the young people now, if they fail at something or if they fall in anything, they give up because somebody laughed. Somebody said or told them that, I told you would never make it or you couldn't do it. They don't live in enough hope. Hope is very important. I guarantee you, if you search down through the years of your life, that it was your hope that kept you in a place of believing. When I tell you, or when I quote to you, portion of scripture says, now faith is the substance. Substance is nothing but the stuff. In other words, what is the stuff you believe in? What is the stuff that you're hoping for? And that's the thing that's going to get you to a place of purpose. And sometimes it's going to get you to a place of healing for the person that's sick, for the person that's, let's just, what we've been through in 2021 and 2022 and still current. Let's look at the person that has been sick from COVID. Every person that has come to me that has talked about them or a family member that is recovering from COVID, the first thing I try to get them to understand is keep hope alive. You got to keep hoping. In other words, let me feed you hope. Let me let your hope stir up your faith. Because if I can feed you hope and grab you in hope, in other words, sir, if I can convince you that if you play that number, you're going to win. And all I need you to do is just look at all your issues and problems, whatever you got, just look at them. But now, if you get that winning ticket, none of that stuff is going to mean a thing to you. And that's in anything we have in life. I don't care if you have broken relationships. Begin to hope that things can get better. Because as you begin to keep your hope on things getting better, you'll find yourself now having faith in things getting better. And it'll pull you through. Hope is the most important thing that we can feed somebody that we need to grab hold of faith. It's important to have faith, but it's important to get your hope up. If you get that hope up, young people, if you get that hope up, if you begin to start hoping for that college degree, if you begin to start hoping for that better position, if you begin to start hoping for that community you want to live in, if you begin to start hoping for that car you want to drive, if you begin to start hoping for your faith to do what it needs to do, you'll find yourself able to accomplish. Because remember, the hope is the thing that's going to stir up the gift, that's going to cause your faith to burn through every doubt, every negative doubt that'll come to your mind. Your faith is going to do that, but you're going to need your hope to stand up.
Hope is that engine, that keeps that fuel that keeps that engine running and make you wanting to go after it. Without, to be hopeless is a dire state to be in.
And that's where a lot of our young people are in dire state, because they haven't been taught to activate the hope. Mm-hmm. If you activate the hope, the faith will stand up and begin to burn like never before.
Much of what you just said, now, I want to add that it's not just for young people.
No, it's not.
It's applicable to whatever you want to call it, older folks.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a sense of hopelessness out there.
Right.
That is so large.
Right. And I just want to explain that in a sort of way that would be a solution to where we see our young people at. Most of our young people, they are in hopeless place. Some of them have student loans that, they can't find the job that's apropos to the education that they've received. In other words, Dr. Stevens, we went through a real estate crisis at one point. In other words, we got to a place where the homes wasn't worth the money we paid. We're in a place now for young people where the education is not worth the money that they paid. Because now that education, they can't seem to get the income to line up with what they paid for the education, which means now education-wise, they're upside down. And so we have to, as community leaders, we have to, as parents, we have to, as civic leaders, we have to now begin to feed young people hope and be honest with them, be truthful with them. Young people today are able to discern a crooked tongue quicker than anybody. They know when you're lying to them. Mm-hmm. That's one thing they know when you're talking to them at the side of your neck. So we owe it to them to be honest about our journey. We owe it to them to be honest about their future.
Again, it's back to that truth that you talk about, early. We
That's
must
right.
be truthful to ourselves and to others. So we're coming close to the end of our conversation today, and what a delightful conversation has been. So tell me, what do you want to be remembered for, and how is that supported by the pursuit of your purpose?
I want to be remembered for always willing to help. I want to be remembered for the person that you can call when everybody else said no. I want to be remembered for the person, whether it be the uncle, the dad, the big brother, the husband. I want to be remembered for the person that always believed in me. I want to be remembered for the person that when everybody else said it was impossible, Gary was the one that encouraged me that all things are possible if you're just willing to put God first in it. It can happen for you. Why? Because he told me that it happened for him. And I was no respecter of person. I don't feel there's anything that I've done outside of work, outside of operating in faith, outside of holding on to hope. I don't think there's anything special I've done to receive anything in life. So the true way to remember me is to just know that he was a man of faith.
A man of faith. I'm going to ask you to state the name of your business, your optometry business, and your food business, but I think that's important given what you're doing there. I think some of our viewers will want to know the name to come and get some of that vision that you're growing over there.
That's right. That's right.
So, do you mind stating the name?
Not at all. My full-time profession is an optician at Eye Connection Optical and Dominion Optical. And you can find us via web. You can Google us, you'll find us. But we're located in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And then another business that my wife and I have is called A Bite to Eat. And A Bite to Eat, Dr. Stevens, was somewhat birthed out of just serving. A Bite to Eat was birthed. I'm blowing myself away right here with just this understanding that's coming to me, because I know the story, but it was in my serving at my local church, wanting to help with outreach ministry. Wanting to help, I went on the curve, my wife and I, and started, vendoring. In other words, we had a mobile food cart that we sold food at the church and raised the money and gave every dime of it to the church to stretch the kingdom. In other words, we wanted to make sure we was a part of the solution that the church was having when it comes to outreach ministry. So we went out there and we began to sell food, and every dime of the money we gave to the church. Now, can I tell you something? And this is just for the listener that just want to hear some truth today. We gave that business to God on the curb of the church. We said, God, now we're going to give this money to the church, because we realize in our own natural mind, body, and soul, you make $1,500 on the curb in 3 hours. This is some good money. But I said, if God can do this in just a little bit of time on the curb, I made a plea and I made a cry out. I said, God, wait a minute, hold on, because the church told me, just give us 10% of whatever you make, and that'd be enough to help us with outreach ministry. But I didn't have a mindset of shortchanging God. I said, wait a minute, God. I said, you know what? I said, I trust you for everything. In other words, did some good money. But God, can I pray to you today and ask you to keep my hands clean of this money and my heart pure of the thoughts that I get when I'm collecting this money? Because, my heart was saying, put it in your pocket and go on about your business. But I want you to know something. In my spiritual being, I said, God, I trust you for my blessing. I can bless myself real good with walking away with the money. But I know you to be a God of exceeding abundantly above all we can ask or think. So I hate to say, God, this just ain't enough. I need more. So I am going to release this and let it go and let the church have it to do whatever it is that they're supposed to do to be a help in the community. I said, but God, I'm depending on you to bless me. So A Bite to Eat is formed today. And that was just out of obedience and being a servant. Serving pays. The Bible says, let the greatest among you serve. And so I'm just that person that's serving, and I'm letting God be the judge of how great he is. So I'm just encouraging somebody today, give your business ideas, give it to God and begin to release it to him and allow him to reveal unto you what it is you're to do with that business so that he can multiply it, so that he can grow it. So if you have an area, come and see us, visit us for a bite to eat.
And that is so awesome. That is so awesome. So what is that one or two takeaway that you'd like to leave with our listeners? And I want you to think about those young students that you talk about earlier, as you say, that one or two takeaway that you think that will make a difference from our
Uh,
conversation today.
this is truly for that student because my heart really goes out to young people and those that would be the student. And I want anybody to grab hold to it. But I want that young person to realize and know more than anything. It doesn't matter what your yesterday looked like. It has nothing to do with your tomorrow. But your today has everything to do with your tomorrow. In other words, doctor, lawyer, pilot, architect, I don't care what it is you desire in your heart. Young person, it starts today. It starts in your today, and it's by the shifting of your mindset. It's about you now putting on the blinders, such as the racehorse, blocking out the things to the left and to the right of you. It's time for you to reach deep down on the inside and recognize your inadequacies and correct them. In other words, if you know you lie too much, stop lying. If you know you don't have the education to get you to that place you desire to be, go get the education. If you don't have the clothes that you feel you need to put you in the right crowd or the right people, it starts today. And it may start with a layaway with the clothes. I'm telling you that you have to do the work and you have to be willing to accept whatever it is about you that may not be 100% right now. In other words, I'm telling you to stop allowing time to go by. If you plan on living anyway, start today. Just do it. Nike say just do it. Just do it. That's all I'm saying.
Make it happen. There's a saying that if you believe that your life is important, then act like it is. Act like this. Are there any closing remarks before we go? Anything else you want to share that you haven't already said?
Yeah. Well, I really don't have any closing remarks, but I would just like to share with the listener, with the viewer, especially young people. You have a life that is so eager to be your friend. Don't listen to what you know to be your friend, but know that your future is your only friend. So many of us get to an age, Dr. Stevens, where we say, had I known then what I know now. I'm trying to relate to that young person that what you know now, what you truly know now, will meet you again in your future. But to keep you from saying, had I known then, I'm telling you to listen. Sit at the feet of wisdom. And wisdom may come from somebody that's not a relative. Wisdom may come from somebody that has just gone before you. But sit at the feet of that wisdom and take it in as truth and change the course of your life and begin to live today, understanding that it will have everything to do with your future. Your yesterday, we can't do nothing about. Your tomorrow is not promised. But your today, you can make a move. You can make a decision. You can choose. You can act and respond to the thoughts that are coming in your head and your heart today. So all I'm saying is don't believe what's on your left and what's on your right. If it don't line up with what you know that's truly in your heart, then trust me, don't do it. But you know what's in your heart. Follow it.
Absolutely. You know, we have to be more present in our life, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
we have to be more present, and we have to learn how to build relationships. And you start building relationship by building one with yourself.
Yes.
You know, so Mr. Howard, I want to thank you for joining me today on the A Collision with Purpose project. Your insights will undoubtedly add immense value to the conversation about purpose. I'll tell you this much, I'm looking forward to having you back under the spotlight to continue our conversation about purpose. Because from what I know about you and our conversation today, there's so much more to talk about. I don't think you've touched the you know, you've not even you haven't even gotten started, right? There's so much more that you can say, and so much more value that you can add. So I want to extend an open invitation for you to come back whenever you can. Do you accept
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes, sir. Without a doubt.
I really appreciate that. Well, folks, this brings us to the end of this edition of the A Collision with Purpose project on the Spotlight. If you're like some individuals and would like to have a better understanding of your purpose, then please submit a short video speaking on the topic of purpose to acollisionwithpurpose@gmail.com. Well, if you'd like to participate in an interview much like this one, then please submit your request to be interviewed to acollisionwithpurpose@gmail.com. Please understand that your interview and your short video will be posted on our social media platforms. That is it for now. Blessings always.
Thank you, sir.